everyone. I'm here today with Stephanie DeLessie, and I'm so excited for her to be on and share about the Intentional IEP. So, Stephanie, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself about your field, you in the field, and how long you've been in the field, and just share it all, please.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Heather. It's always so good to see you and just collaborate together. So thank you. My name is Stephanie DeLessie. So I'm the teacher behind Mrs. D's Corner, but also the Intentional IEP, which is where my heart and soul is right now. I taught in a traditional classroom setting as a dual certified special education teacher for 7.5 years. I taught, and I've lost count at this point. I've taught in 4 different states. I've been certified in 6 different states, currently in the state of Florida. And I started Mrs. D's Corner when I couldn't find a teaching job. And then when I left the classroom, I really struggled to kind of find my place in education, as I feel like a lot of educators do. And
Mhm.
then I just, one day it clicked and I was like, I love IEPs. I love writing IEPs. And I know that as teachers, we don't get that development, the professional development, the resources, everything that we
Mhm.
need to be the best IEP writers that we can be. And so that's how the Intentional IEP was born. I just had a book come out, The Intentional IEP, through a publisher in January. So we're just kind of rocking and rolling over here. I'm real excited to share all the things.
Yeah, I love that. I know you said you taught in 4 different states. Can
Yeah.
you tell me about that IEP process and like learning 4 different states IEP processes? Was it all
Mhm.
similar?
They're pretty much similar because all the states, we have to all follow federal law. So the guts of an IEPs are the same, but it really just, it was all like the school and district policies. And so I taught in Pennsylvania, I've taught in Delaware and Virginia and Texas. And then I'm also certified in Georgia and then in the state of Florida. And so in Pennsylvania, the one thing, like I'm from Pennsylvania. So I grew up
Hmm.
knowing that the states in like the insurance will actually pay for one-on-one paraprofessionals for students, but that has not been the case anywhere else that I have worked. That has not been.
No.
So that was a big pill for me to swallow because I'm just like, just call your insurance and like we'll give you. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, that's
No.
not a thing. And Virginia, I had a really good mentor who was like the what she was like the SPED department head at our school. I worked at a
Mhm.
middle school and she really helped that whole year. But I had to run the meetings, schedule the meetings, write the IEPs, do all the things. And in Pennsylvania, it was the same. And in charter schools, it's the same, except my caseloads were much larger than I had ever had in a public school.
Hmm.
Then when I moved to Texas, I only had to write the present levels and the proposed goals. Everything else we did at the meeting. I didn't have to schedule the meeting. I did not have to run the meeting. It was run by the LSSP or the ARD facilitator. In Texas, they're called ARDs. I think it's annual review and something. I always forget what it stands for.
Hmm.
But then in Texas, you also have to send the draft IEP. So if you've followed me, you know that I'm like, yeah, send the draft IEP. So that's where I learned about sending draft IEPs. And we have to send them home 10 days prior to the IEP meeting, school
Hmm.
days, not calendar days. So that was a huge shift for me as well. And also not
Hmm.
having to run and schedule and do all the things.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of learning curves, but it also gave me a lot of really good experience. So it
Yeah.
was just really good. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting about the paraprofessionals being billed for insurance. Like that's
Yeah.
wild for me in Illinois. Like that's not a thing. Like we're trying to remove one-on-ones as much as we can.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So how did you really find that you were passionate about IEPs? Like I feel like that is such a niche thing that like everybody gets overwhelmed for it. So tell me, how did you realize this was your passion?
I don't even know. I'm very type A, but I'm also very type B. It just depends on what it is. And when it comes to the paperwork that we all have as special educators, I've always loved it. Like I have
Hmm.
always thrived. I love organizing it. I love the color coding of it and making sure everything's in order, everything has its place. Like that just makes my teacher heart so happy. And I know that I am rare in that. Like that is not normal. And it just kind of rolled from there. And I have made IEP writing mistakes. Like I have not ever been like, there is no perfect IEP, right? Or perfect IEP writer. You just do the best you can with the knowledge that you have.
Hmm.
But I have always loved writing IEPs and what they stand for our students. And so I think it's just so powerful and it's awesome that we get to be a part of something that helps shape and mold our students.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a part of me still that like misses writing IEPs, because it was moments where I was like, I love that I could pour into this student this accommodation, or
Yes.
be able to modify in this way because this is what's best for them. And so yeah, I hear that, and I totally see like there's parts of it that I love too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your Intentional IEP website. Let's start there with the membership,
Yeah.
and what that entails, what comes with the membership, and what is offered.
So inside of the intentional IEP, when we first started, it was just an IEP goal bank, and you could search by keyword, domain, grade level, all those things. And we actually just rolled out a brand spanking new IEP goal bank. It is like chef's kiss. There is nothing else out there like it. And it was built by myself, my team of teachers, and other teachers. So it was built by special ed teachers for special ed teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a searchable goal bank. We have a one of a kind, build your own kind of IEP goal plan for IEP goals, where you can search based off of strengths and needs, and then it recommends goals to you from there. You can also search by grade level and domain, or title. So if
Mm-hmm.
you need a fine motor goal, or gross motor, communication, behavior, transition, we call
Mm-hmm.
learning needs. So any academic needs, that's what we call domains. So you can
Mm-hmm.
search that way, or you can search by keyword. And then for all skills pre-K through 6, so academic skills pre-K through 6, we actually have, and this is new, brand new inside of the new goal bank, what we're calling IEP screeners. And so these are those baseline assessments, or those progress monitoring probes that align directly to whatever that skill is in that IEP goal that you've chosen for your student. You can download them, print them. There's instructions for each one, and you use it with your students. And so the goal bank is pre-K through 12, but only the pre-K through 6 academic skills come with those screeners. Everything else has a data sheet to help you collect data and keep track of it. So that's just the one part of it. And we really, when we opened the intentional IEP, it was just the goal bank. But since then, as I've listened to other special education teachers, we've added more and more into it. So not only do we have this goal bank, we also have our member resource library, which includes templates, checklists, data sheets, like
Mm-hmm.
all the IEP related things. And then we also have our video vault, which you are on in our video vault doing a couple of
Yes.
trainings. And so we have over 150 different trainings from other experts within the field about a slew of special education and IEP topics. We also have 2 courses. So the intentional IEP writing course walks you through all the IEP writing things.
Mm-hmm.
Intentional data collection walks you through all the data collection things.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you remember, during the summer months, you get access to the summer PD series for free as part of your membership. In December, if you remember, in December, you get access to our winter PD series. So we do a lot of professional development for teachers, but we also have the goal bank and then the member resources to kind of bring it full circle and give you just about everything that you need, aside from like state specific or district specific policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
We give you everything else that you need though. So it's awesome. Like I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Even just when I saw it from the front end of it before, of like the goal banks, it's got so much in it. Like, oh, and the video vaults, like the summer PD, I think series is like my favorite, because always in the summer I'm trying to recharge and go, well, like what's new, what's upcoming, what do I need to
Yes.
stay on top of? So like those are always really beneficial, as we like transition from like the last school year into the new school year. Like sometimes I just need a refresher of all the things. So like
Yeah.
love, love, love the membership for sure. And so then from this, you've kind of released a book. Is it
Yeah.
related, or is it just kind of like, I just wanted to call it the Intentional IEP because like that's just what seemed to flow?
So the publisher, actually, I came up with a couple of different names, and they were like, I think we should just call it the Intentional IEP because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's actually called, it's a really long title, but I just call it the Intentional IEP Book. It's the Intentional IEP, a team approach for better outcomes for students and their families. And you can grab it anywhere, honestly. Barnes and
Yeah.
Noble, Amazon, Target, Walmart, BAM. Um, it's everywhere, which is really exciting.
And it recently came out with a audiobook version as well,
It
correct?
did, yes. It actually, the audiobook just came out, and I've had so many people, they were like, did you read the book? Because a lot of people wanted me to read it, and I totally would have. but the publisher's deadline didn't align with me being newly postpartum and not no longer pregnant. So
Yep.
I think when they wanted it done by, I think I was like 3 weeks postpartum, and I was like, there's no way that I
No
can get
way.
this done.
No way. No way. Well, I'm sure maybe someday you'll get to read it or maybe read it somewhere exclusively, like
Yes.
maybe in the membership. So what was your favorite section to write about in that IEP book?
Oh man, that's a great question. Um, I think probably my favorite section is the two chapters about collaboration. So there's a chapter
Mhm.
on collaboration with general education teachers and the rest of the IEP team. And then there's a chapter just about parent participation and parent collaboration.
Yeah.
And one of my philosophies as a special education teacher is I think collaboration is key. You should never write an IEP alone. It's going to look different for every IEP team, what that collaboration looks like. But
Mhm.
you really should. You don't IEP alone. Like, don't stop
No,
doing that.
please don't.
So those are my favorite chapters, I think, just to give other teachers, IEP team members, parents ideas of what that collaboration might look like or different things to try if they're struggling to really have that true collaboration at the team, at the table.
Yeah, for sure. I know the collaboration is a big part of the IEP process. For me, when I was reading the book, I think it was the data collection because I'm always just a data collection nerd.
You
Um,
are. Yeah, I think you taught me when it comes to data collection. Like, you are the data collection queen, I feel like.
yeah, but I always love your like sticky notes and like just to see that other side of it that I'm like because I'm so digital and you're just
You
like, yeah,
are.
paper. And I was like, but I
Yep.
love seeing that side of it too. So yeah, it's so nerdy to like nerd out on data collection. I know this is kind of the same question, but what do you feel is the most valuable section of this book? Or like what do
Oh.
you feel like teachers are saying to you of like, I really loved listening to this part or hearing this part?
I think just as a whole, what I've been hearing from other teachers who have read the book and just feedback from our reviewers that we had and everything was that it was so just easy to consume and easy to understand. IEP language, special education law regulation, like that wording
Mhm.
is so dry and boring, but also so important.
Mhm.
And so and maybe that's why what I'm hearing is it's so simple to digest and just implement these things. And you
Mhm.
finally made it click. Like, I understand the connections between all the different sections of an IEP. So I think just that general feedback has been something that's been really valuable to me, is that I can take what I know, what I've learned, my experiences, and just make it really simple for other teachers. And that makes me feel really good.
Yeah, and it's meaningful and actionable. They can take those small things and just bring it right in. Like I
Yeah.
do love that about your book where I feel like it was really easy to like read for
Well, thank
sure.
you.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you want to share in relation to the Intentional IEP membership or your book or anything that you can tell us about what's coming next?
Yeah, well, we definitely have our summer PD series coming up this summer. It's the fourth annual summer PD series. I have the calendar actually right here in front of me. I can't share any details yet, but by the time you're watching this, the schedule will be out. We have a lot of trauma-based trainings this summer coming
Awesome.
out, which, oh my gosh, they're so stinging good, Heather. Like,
Good.
so good. A lot of behavior trainings and teaching replacement behaviors. And so behavior isn't really my expertise. Like, I
Hmm.
could give general knowledge about it.
Yeah.
So when I am recording these trainings with other teachers and experts and professionals on the IEP teams, I'm learning alongside everyone. And so
Yeah.
my notebook is just page after page after page of notes.
Yeah.
So I have learned personally a lot about trauma-informed education and trauma-informed IEPs, trauma-based practices, and
Hmm.
it's so good. It's so good.
Oh,
So
I
we have
can't wait.
that coming up, and just the monthly trainings every month. We release new trainings every month, new resources every month. So if you're looking just for a place to feel like you belong and you need those professional development trainings that you're not getting at your district or school, definitely give the Intentional IEP a try. There's so many trainings that you can just search by keyword. We have them all grouped. It's just, there's so much in there that you'll definitely find something to help you with what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. I will make sure the links for the Intentional IEP membership and your book is linked below so that people can find it and find you. So thank you so much for being here, Stephanie. This was really, really exciting.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.